everybody. Welcome to All Day. It is September 10th, 2023, and I'm excited. I'm Julie, and I'm in a nation. I recently moved back to Orlando, which is where I have a lot of support and a lot of interesting things going on. And so we are doing a new series on Rose All Day. It's still Rose All Day for those of you that are listening on Spotify or Blurry or any of the great places that you can find your podcast. However, we are doing a new show called Rose All Day Optimistic in Orlando. And I have a co-host now, officially. Her name is Rebecca Davis. And this show, just so you know, will be running every Sunday night at 7 p.m. There's Rebecca. I met her a few months ago in rehearsals for a play that we were able to do together in Savannah, Georgia, prior to me moving. And then I went and visited her in Melbourne, Florida a week ago. And that's kind of where we fleshed out this idea for this new podcast. And I'm super excited to introduce her to you in a few minutes. First off, in true Rose All Day fashion, my drink this evening is Barefoot Spritzers, and it is White Crisp. So it is a blend of wine with pear, notes of pear, and green apple. That is what I'm drinking tonight. We'll ask Rebecca what she's drinking in a second. Super fun. But let's get her in here, and then we can talk about how the show kind of came to fruition. It is a live show, so we have opportunities for our guests to join us and watch live with us, and they can interact in our live comments section. So whether you're listening to this podcast on Apple or Spotify or Blurry and you're hearing it tomorrow, or you want to come and join us on justjulie.com on our YouTube channel, you can see the episodes each week, but I'm super excited. So let's bring Rebecca in. Hi, Rebecca Davis.
Hi, Just Julie.
So let's start off by, I'm going to tell the story of how we kind of came up with this idea and what it is. This is the first episode, so we're not going to go too deep into the rabbit hole because as the next couple of weeks progress, it's going to get fuller and fuller as the show builds a little bit. But for those that are watching, Optimistic in Orlando, my dating life, many people's dating lives for the last 10, 15 years have been chaotic because of online dating. Some people love it. Some people absolutely abhor it and hate it. You definitely get to see a huge cross-section of compatible matches, not so compatible matches. Rebecca and I in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago were at a cigar bar, and we were talking about how hard it is to date as an intersex person. Really, anybody that would be marginalized would find it hard to date in a very cut and dry, male-female supported online factory. Let's say that. And so, hi, Brooklyn Ness. Hi, Fat Boy. So, hi, it's my friends Meg and Dennis. They're watching as well. So, let's talk about that a little bit. So, Rebecca had actually said to me, I think you're not having so much luck because you tend to date douchebags.
Mm-hmm.
More or less. And she said you tend to go for the really amazing, good-looking guys that you could wash their clothes on their abs. And she was like, and you may be missing out on something greater. And I thought, that's what I'm attracted to. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit because that exchange in the cigar bar was definitely interesting with that person.
And we had a little bit of an audience too listening in, didn't we?
We did. We even got some attention and advice from guys that were sitting next to us.
And they proved me right.
They did. They did. I said, I'm going to ask these men. And I got up and went over and I said, you know, my friend thinks this guy is talking to me online on this particular dating app is very douchebaggy. And the guys were like, she's right. She's he comes across as very, they were like, what is he going to take off his shirt and flex his muscles? And he did.
That's exactly
Did.
what happened.
And I said, I get lost. I've always said this about myself. I think a lot of my friends would agree, even maybe people that were at the party with me yesterday. In person, I'm engaging and my personality is on fire and I'm firing on all cylinders. When I have to talk to somebody online, I think a lot gets lost in text. And I don't even know the correct ways sometimes to respond. So little Rebecca was sitting next to me and she was like, let me do it. I don't get to go on online dating and do it. Let me respond. And she's a writer and an editor. So I was like, what could it hurt? I said, as long as it sounds like me, go for it. And there was definitely some rapport going back and forth, but she was like, okay, this is how we take care of this. And I'm like, oh. And one of the guys even stood up and said, what'd you say? And she told him and he goes, you're savage. And she was like, yep, not playing. So that's kind of, it was fun because she was able to go through my dating profiles and literally go, I don't like this person for you. I don't like this. I don't like what's being said in this profile. Oh, let's talk about this profile. Oh, you may be. And what she was doing is she would read me the profile and then she would show me a picture of her choosing from their profile. Say, do you feel it? Are you feeling it? And then initially she would reach out. And so I'm sitting there the whole time thinking, this could be, because I'm new in Orlando, it's a huge metropolitan area. I've come back after being gone for a while. But it could be a lot of things. And we also decided, but we also thought, how are we going to make it safe for everybody? So the way it's going to work later is, and each week, to online, which I'm on like 3 or 4, we will code the dating site with, I mean, you'll be able to figure it out if you're smart, but we're not gonna, for legal reasons, we're not gonna say this site. And then when she shows me a picture of a gentleman after reading me the bio blindly, if I agree to reach out, she will make the initial connection and then it's in my court after that. And we will give them a code name. So we won't be giving out their real name. We won't, this guy's really tall and I'm going to call him Gumby, right? And so every week out from here, I'll be like, do you remember Gumby in episode 1? And he finally reached back out. And this is what happened. And so this is what we're going to do each week. And if ever there's an opportunity where the date works out and I continue to see Gumby or Rocket Man or whoever else we're talking about, we will then find somebody within our watching and listening audience that also is not having a great time in the dating pool. And we will by doing the same thing. So potentially this could be a great social vehicle and experiment. And we're going to be talking about relationships some too. And just Rebecca's, she and I love just listening to her and kind of, it was kind of a wake up call for her, even to hear it from a friend to say, you go after the really attractive ones and you pull the really attractive ones. And that comes with, so this should be interesting. It should be interesting. So,
and Julie, I'm having a low key bumpy ride on your, the Wi-Fi, but I don't know if it's happening for me or for you, but just want to make sure that you're aware of that. We're not moving too much, but
for the future, yeah, I did see it bump a little bit, and maybe we'll be okay.
Cool.
Okay, text is tough, is what Dennis and Meg said. I get it. So we're going to kind of get into the show first about just talking about, look, we're buffering now. It's okay. We're going to get in a little bit about just the pitfalls of online dating, why so many people do hate it. What's your kind of opinion on that?
I think that, so I was dating my best times were in New York about 10 years ago, and maybe, yeah, 10, 15 years ago. And that was the time in which I feel like I hadn't gotten on the apps yet, but I felt like people actually cared about you because you were like, what was a catch about you was a catch because there weren't a million other people that they had the impression that they could be with. And so they are like, oh, okay, well, I'll stick it out with you. We'll get to know you. I'll show up to whenever we, want to hang out again. And on online dating now, I think people have this impression that they can just order up someone like Uber Eats and in fact, get them to come over to their house. But, it makes you think that everybody that you've swiped on is an option. Oh, I have 250 potential soulmates. No, you might not even have 0.1 potential soulmate out of those. It doesn't really change anything except that you happen to swipe on each other. So I think that what it does is that kind of poisons the brain where people become disposable. And if one person has, elephant skin, then boom, they're out, it becomes like a problem. The other thing I think people hate is that you begin texting with someone and you can actually get quite intimate in that early phase, but people are really shy to meet up. And so there's all these like a la carte relationships where you're having an emotional connection, but then you're not really having a relationship. You might not even be hooking up. And so you've got like these weird pieces that you're having with different people. And then you feel a little bit heartbroken or confused when they suddenly ghost on you 3 weeks later because you said one random thing and they decided to forget about you.
Because it wasn't a fit for them. And
yeah.
you have a connection and then they ghost. Or even worse, you go to meet up and they get cold feet and they ghost. Or I think sometimes I kind of miss that tradition. And it's funny because I see myself as somewhat of a traditional woman. I like that traditional. And now, but as you grow up, because you just want to be with a partner and you want to have that relationship, you definitely feel that you are giving up some of those traditional things because everybody else is giving them up too. And you still want to be able to connect with somebody and you don't have that. It's very it is very interesting. And for you in that cigar, in the cigar bar, we were like the hottest girls in there. It was definitely a male dominated room. I definitely felt like it. Sometimes people are like, what are they doing in here together? And then we were doing our own thing. And I thought, this is kind of what online dating feels like. Just being in the space of all these men, not knowing if they're married or single, not knowing if they're available for play or whatever, but you're in there and you kind of feel like, I know for some women, they describe it as shooting fish in a barrel. Who did I get? Right? And then you're like, who'd I get? I think the other thing we have to talk a little bit about is not everybody that's on the internet is truthful. They're not always meant to be on the internet. And I think there are definitely some scary moments that women and men that are doing online dating need to be careful and think about. Case in point is, I was a good girl this week. I knew that we were going to be using the Hive dating app that I use. And remember, again, we're coding the dating apps. So we're pulling from the Hive this week, but I stayed off of it. I usually have the most success off the Hive. And so I told Rebecca, I will not go on. I will not scroll. So as we start this experiment, it is literally a blank slate. However, I was going on my other dating options. And I'm on one called basically man versus, we'll say that, man versus man. And typically that's a site that was set up years ago for gay men to meet. It's literally a little bit of everything. And being an intersex woman, I often will tell people, I have to go on the sites where men that are drawn to what I bring to the table are visiting anyway, you know what that means. Some of the people that have watched my podcast for a long time also would know what that means. If you're new, make sure you check out other Just Julie podcasts to learn more about what it means to be intersex. But I have to fish in the pond that is going to be stocked with the fish that are going to respond to my bait. And so I was on this site and this guy reached out to me and his screen name was Foot Surgeon with a series of numbers behind.
So bad.
And I shared with Rebecca, I was like, ugh, can you understand why people don't like online dating? And so we're going to read you some of the comments that Foot Surgeon sent me. I sent them all. I ended up, by the end of the conversation, I sent them all to his local police department and to the FBI because I thought, this is not, and to the app, because I thought, this isn't right. On so many levels, this isn't right. So, some of the conversations from Foot Surgeon, how'd they start off for me? Just things like this. He first asked if he could help fix my feet. He wanted me to send a picture of his feet. And I thought, okay, he's got a foot fetish. That's fine. A lot of people have that fetish. It's fine. It's what you're into. But then when I showed him a picture of my feet and I had said, I used to be a dancer. My feet are not pretty. I definitely have some issues down there. I'm missing a toe or two. I was hoping it would knock him off the track. It didn't, right? It didn't.
No, it drew him right in.
It drew him right in. And he said, oh, I'm a foot surgeon. Can I be your podiatrist? And I was like, let's see where this goes. Sure. And he was like, I would love to operate on your feet. And he was like, but I need you to come over to my house. He's 70 miles away from me, ladies and gentlemen. And he said, come over to my house. I will put you under Nisha. And I will do a assessment of your feet. And then he was asking questions like, do you sleep soundly through the night? And would you be okay if I performed surgery? And I thought, do you need my insurance card? He said, no. I said, are we doing this in your clinic? And he was like, yes, eventually. But the assessment has to be done at my house. And I shared with Rebecca as I moved on and on through the conversation, he was saying things like, I would like you to come and we're glad for a few days. Like I was even sharing the text with my roommate at the time or now, and we were all like, this is insane. Like it has serial killer aspects written all over it, all over it.
He has
and so,
feet in a trunk somewhere.
Or bodies.
Yeah.
Like it definitely went from, and then he wanted to video chat. And I was like, no, but he kept trying to video chat me. And then this was like over the course of 2 days. And then he was like, can I see your feet? He was like, can I just see your feet? And it dawned on me, I thought, he's in his bedroom and he is not looking at my feet to assess them because he was breathing heavy. I thought this, and then I turned to my roommate and said, who falls for this shit? Like, are there women and men out there that literally go, oh yeah, I'll be right over. You're going to help me with my feet? I'm coming right over.
Right. And can you imagine the type of person who would do that does not have the resources to go to a regular foot doctor? So he's preying on people who are in a tight spot.
Yeah. And that is just weird. And so finally, I said to him, I said, look, this has been fun and entertaining for the last 2 days. Ha, ha, ha. I think you're a little off your rocker. I tried to say it in the nicest way possible. And I said, I've collected all this information and I've sent it to your local authorities. And he was like, you don't even fucking know my name, you ugly bitch. And I said, you know what? I don't have to know your name. There are things called IP addresses, and Adam for Adam, man versus man knows your name, right? And I was like, I will send it to them. And the funny thing is, I was sharing this story with another friend of mine in the area just like a day ago. And they said, oh, he reached out to me too. And I thought, how is he still online?
What I had this was, we had a tennis player in the area, well, a guy in the area, and I ended up playing tennis with him because it was through this like page of meeting people in the area. And now I will never suggest to anyone to meet someone. I mean, I don't know, maybe women with women, you can decide, but to meet someone even in public, he had massive scary vibes, Ted Bundy vibes. I played tennis with him and then like left, and then found out from a friend that she had heard from him, and he found her at her work and knew how much she worked and all of this. And he invited me over to like take singing lessons or piano or something. And he sends me this piano picture, and it is put up. My friend pointed out, it looks like a coffin. It's not at the angle. It's just straight up. I'm like, do I get into the piano? Is that how this goes? So anyway, so I send these to my friends. Multiple people had gotten in touch with this, had the same guy. He'd found them. You got stuck for a second in the post.
I totally. It's a bad angle. It shows everybody the wrong.
So, and it's not a better angle at his house. And so then I find out on Facebook, he had reached out to people, and he had all these things of like, he was responding to people who were cleaners, and he wanted them to come clean the house. He was hiring like all these people where you're stuck in one scenario. And so the thing is when you find a bad egg, you are not the only one that they reached out to. They are all over, crawling all over. And it's just a matter before they have to move to the next city.
But again, I go, they're on a dating app.
Right. Well, this is the other thing that's different about online dating is in the past, when you met people, you'd be like, that guy has bad vibes. I mean, think about it. You walk into a bar. It's just a big online bar. But when you walk into a bar, how many people there do you ever really find yourself attracted to? There's a bunch of weirdos. There's a bunch of married people. There's a bunch of like sort of like, nah. And once in a blue moon, on a lucky weekend, there's someone that you at least found attractive. Then maybe in the light of day, they weren't so great. Or then maybe you did end up, and then how many people do you know actually met their spouses in a real bar? Okay. Now imagine you just make that bar bigger with that many more terrible people and no greater percentage of likelihood of meeting anyone. And you don't get to get their vibes until you meet up with them in person. So it's kind of a ridiculous idea. I mean, I've completely stopped doing it because I'm just sick of it. Because I'm like, it's so unlikely.
Well, yeah, and my mom's like, we were laughing because I was talking to my mom and dad a couple of months ago. My mom's like, why don't you just start going to church again? And I was like, I'm like, look, everything that I've witnessed on online dating, yes, I might meet a man at the church, but he's probably going to want to wear my fishnet stockings, and he's going to want me to beat him with the Bible. Like, that's not really my thing. And my dad's like, that is so true. I was like, I don't know if that's better. And I was like, my mom and dad got together in the 70s, and they've been married for 53 years. And I thought, you have no idea what the dating pool and dating, even my sister who was married 10 years ago, like it has changed so much. And you talk to so many women over 35 and men over 35 that they're not attracted necessarily to a younger set, but they're not attracted necessarily to an older set, or maybe they're attracted to whatever, but they're also in this huge conglomerate that are divorced and have gone through shit relationship. Want to make a commitment, but they are down to like have some adult fun time with you. And it's just, it is in trying to find that experience that will reshape love for you or find love for you. So I think this is an interesting, gosh, don't comb your bangs the other way because it'll camera. I keep going. But this should be an interesting experience. We do have some viewers watching us right now. We tend to get a lot of our viewers the next day or when they hear the podcast. Just want to also remind our viewers that are watching, this is a new series on a Roseo Day called Optimistic in Orlando. Really is about online dating, and it's a new social experience, an experiment that Rebecca and I are doing, and we will be doing it each week. We're going to actually get into her picks for me this week. So if you're watching from home or if you're listening online, Rebecca has pre-selected from the Hive. I think I have close to 250 people waiting till I try and connect with me. So she's going to read me some bios of people that she thinks might be a fit, might not be a fit. We're going to talk about the bios. She's not going to share their name with me to protect them. She will share a picture with me if I say, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's look at them. And we'll talk about that. And anybody that makes it through the preliminary cut into the final cut for tonight, she will reach out to through my account. And she will just make an initial, hey, definitely interested in you, like your bio. We will wait and see who contacts me back. We will also be giving them a code name, usually based on how they look. I'll be making notes. So going into future episodes, if it takes 2 weeks for one of them to contact me back, I will let you know. Hey, we reached out to Papa Smurf, and he would be somebody that's really short with a beard, maybe a little blue in his profile, things like that. We'll code them like that. But that way, we're protecting all of them, and we will have these in-depth conversations, even about how they respond to me. And I have to be really honest, and I've shared some of this with Rebecca. Oftentimes, even in my dating profiles, I will get men that want to know what intersex is. So for me, even though it's about dating and finding somebody, it's also a little bit about education, because if they don't know what an intersex woman is or brings to the table, I can educate them, and then they can still make the decision. Is this somebody I want to move forward with and see? Or is this someone I don't want to move forward with, but they're still educated? So it's kind of twofold for me, but I'm excited. So it's really like blind dating, really. I mean, all right.
So I have a disclaimer about some of my choices and about some of the advice that I give to Julie, which is that I have an opinion about relationships that is halfway between, or I would say outside of both, but different than the idea we're all just husband shopping or wives shopping or other spouse shopping. But we are like the a la carte idea, but not in an unhealthy way. So you meet a person, you have so many options for love and connection with that person, but it requires rules and requirements and boundaries still, no matter what. So however you are building a connection with someone, you still have your standards. And it's like, okay, let's say you're just sleeping with the person. You figure out for you, this is everyone. All right, well, if you're going to sleep with me, we still get dinner. We still do this. You always come to my place, or we switch, or I get to initiate sometimes and you don't. But there's a series of rules and requirements that are there that help contain that so that you're not being taken advantage of and treated like Uber Eats. And everybody's is different. So what I've looked at here are options that Julie might be able to settle down with, and also people that she could figure out along the way what she might like out of the situation.
So before we get started, Brooklyn Miss wants to know, her name's Mary Bell, but she wants to know, will you go live on the dates or after? So the way to work is to protect their identity and just to protect, I think if this podcast goes where we want it to go, it'll become popular. And I don't want people necessarily jumping into my inbox because they think they'll appear on the podcast. So out of protection for that, and out of protection for a real flesh forward, monumentous relationship, I'm not going to go live on the dates. If somebody wants to make a television show out of this and they want to see us go on the dates, possibly. But For the purpose of this podcast, we will talk about them after the dates. I will come back the next week and say, hey, do you remember Papa Smurf from episode 1? He finally contacted me and we finally went on a date. And here's how I feel that situation. Under the guise that you would still know him as Papa Smurf. And that way we're not giving away any kind of, I don't know what the right word is to use for that, but it really is more of a protection for them and then a protection for us if anything should work out. We will talk about it because that's part of the podcast. And we'll definitely talk about concerns that came up during the day. I mean, y'all know me. Y'all all know me. I'm that girl that'll kiss on a first date. That doesn't bother me. Rebecca gets mad at me all the time because I don't have any boundaries. I'll come home and be like, took my panties off last night. Had a whole circus in the back seat of a cab. And that's not great for me either. And the whole purpose of this kind of experiment is to make sure that I'm not selling myself short. I am holding out for the brass ring, but also that I'm the prize. I'm the prize. So hopefully that answered your question. So back to Rebecca.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go through some of the real choices, and then I'm going to throw you a couple fun things of reading you bios of people that I think you would have automatically clicked on and looked through the pictures and then been like, oh my God, yes, and swiped right. And we're going to see what their bios say.
So she's going to read the bios for everybody that's just tuning in. She's going to read the bios. Then she will send me a picture of her choosing on text. And I will look at the picture. I will not show the picture online. But from that picture, I'll say, Rebecca, I think he kind of looks like Robert De Niro. So we're going to call this one De Niro. And then we will call him De Niro. We'll talk about his bio. We'll see if it's a fit. I'll really take her advice because she's really great at doing this thing where she looks into their eyes and she'll look at all their pictures and she'll be like, this one looks like he's going to beat your head against the wall. I say it's a no. And I'll be like, okay, I trust you. I'll still look at the picture and be like, I might want to be slammed up against the wall later. But that's how it's going to work.
Okay. Are you ready for, let's see, let me cue up my first guy here.
She had a lot of options. I told her before the podcast, go pick 5 to 10, and I knew she was going to be overwhelmed. But to preface, she was laughing in Melbourne because we'd clear the whole inbox. And she'd be like, nope, 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 nope. And we'd get through the whole inbox. And then I'd be like, okay. And she'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm checking my inbox again. She was like, we just cleared the whole inbox. And I was like, your point? And I'd open it back up and there'd be like 15 new ones. And she was like, Julie. And then there'd be like 30 new ones. And then she'd be like, we just cleared them. And then the next day I was like, there are 100 in there. And she's like, what?
The amount of people trying to clamor into your world is
the amount of people trying to get into my clam. Clamor into my clam.
Oh man. Okay. All right, Julie, are you ready for the first one? All right. I'm going to give you the age. I'm going to read the bio, and then I'm going to talk about some of the tags and maybe a few things that I'm seeing from pictures, but no image of what the person looks like. Okay. So this person is 30 years old. They're self-employed. He says, fun, honest, and family-oriented man in search of whatever it is that suits you best. Let's venture. And then there's the little purple dancing guy and a flag that I don't recognize that is where he's from. I won't even try to take a guess. He is a man, and it says don't know yet. I think that means kids. There looks to be a bunch of buddies. There's some alcohol in some of these pictures, but that could be concerning or not, depending on how much we've got in here. And then it looks like he enjoys nature on some level. Definitely some pictures with friends and without. What do you think? You want a picture?
What did you tell me the other day about 30-year-olds?
Okay, so here's the preface. You like some cougar meat, and so I'm here for you on a 360 level. Okay, I'm not only husband shopping for you, and in fact, some of these are like trick question profiles to get you to think about what you're attracted to as well. Okay, we can talk about it now. So there are a few people who are under 30, a few people who are over 40, and a few people who are in their 30s. But if in future we want to cut out the age ranges and simplify them, we will do that on there.
Okay. I'm not a big nature girl. Like, I'll do it. I'll go out in the woods with you, but I don't want to stay out in the woods and hike. That's not my thing.
Do you like the beach?
I like it for other reasons. There are a lot of great white sharks showing up at beaches lately.
And do you like someone who has a lot of buddies?
Or is buddies attractive?
Some of them.
Let's see a pic.
Okay.
Let's see a pic. Look, if he's not what I'm looking for, he doesn't make that preliminary cut.
Well, and here's the thing. These people reveal themselves very quickly in the early days of the conversation if you're willing to let them reveal themselves. If we get too attached to what people look like, sometimes that's harder to do.
Well, that's what you say to me all the time. Like, I pick the attractive ones.
Okay, do you see them?
I'm going to look right now.
Now, I think people should be attractive. You got to be attracted to the person. But you can't have just attractive or just nice. There needs to be a crossover. You certainly can't have neither. And there are a lot of people who sometimes get entertained who kind of in your version of what you're attracted to are neither. They don't need to be entertained.
He is attractive. He's attractive. He's got really pretty eyes.
I feel like it's not a fit for you. I feel that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, maybe not. Jesus.
Okay.
More look at.
Great. Moving on.
That may be weird.
Huh?
Especially when you're in the bedroom and you're like, oh God, oh God.
Wait, what is your concern?
That he looks like Jesus.
Oh man, when I was in LA, the place with the apps were full of Jesuses. There were so many guys, and a lot of people had hair like me. And then also there was a guy whose main claim to fame was that he looked exactly like Jason Momoa. And he did. And he had this incredible photo like of his bod and everything. And anyway, it's always very amusing. But yeah, no. All right. So this guy is someone that you would absolutely go for immediately. I don't think that he has to be completely thrown away as like a maybe one-hit wonder situation if you're feeling it.
Okay.
But like he doesn't look like he's an absolutely terrible person, okay? But I want you to hear what the bio is for somebody that would have been an auto swipe right for you.
Okay.
Okay, he's 32 years old. He's a man looking for something casual. And it says personal trainer on the side. We don't know what's at the forefront. Adrenaline junkie on the daily. Certified skydiver with a parachute. Professional fun haver. Is that somebody that Julie would normally swipe on?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
I would even, which I've never done before, but I think that would be really cool to be.
I feel like this one is it could really go either way. Now I'm going to send you a picture, and you are going to have the time of your life looking at it.
I think people will be able to see my reaction on the podcast when I'm looking at the pictures. Like, oh, yeah. Julie's drooling.
And I mean, you can describe what you see. So, I mean, this man is wearing half of a shirt, but it's cut off on either side. So it's really just like a nice strip down the middle.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Yeah.
He is gorgeous.
Yeah. Just remember that after you get the parachute taken off and get, on your way, the next woman is getting on the plane with the parachute. So that's just what we have to know about this individual. Okay.
He is. Gosh, he reminds me, it's so funny because you may not see this. He's definitely looks metrosexual.
Mm-hmm.
Very attractive. Like, definitely so I hang out at a lot of gay bars because most of my inner tribe is gay men. And so
he would be there.
He would definitely have been at the pool party yesterday.
He would have been at the pool party yesterday.
And
yes.
He kind of reminds me of a cross between Joey on Blossom.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Do you remember that show Blossom? Do you remember? I can't think of his name right now. Joey on Blossom. He kind of looks like a sexy Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, if Jimmy Fallon and Zac Efron had a baby, maybe.
And he was a go-go dancer.
Yeah.
Let's call him. He's definitely in the mix. We'll definitely reach out to him maybe at the end. We'll go through the other candidates. But let's call him for this episode and future episodes. Who did I just say looked like Jimmy Fallon? Let's call him Sexy Fallon.
Got it. Perfect.
So I'm making that note. This is Sexy Fallon. Notice I just licked my lips. And he is 32. And so he is that is. And for the purpose of our text, I will heart the ones in our ongoing text that I like.
Great.
Okay.
Perfect. Also, along the way, I might send you just a photo or two out of context that I think is freaking hilarious.
So we did come across while we were in Melbourne, and she said, I was not really paying attention. She was doing her thing. And she said, oh, Julie, I think we can absolutely nix this person from the mix. And I was like, why would you say that? And she sent me a picture, and I'm not kidding, guys. It literally was this man in silhouette with a white wolf, all of his pictures. Like a Native American white wolf with the feathers, but the guy was very computer nerd. And I thought, when was this picture taken? 1976? All of us. So girls all the time talk about fish pictures, how every guy in the South has to take a picture of fish. We don't get it. For the same reason. What did I tell you? Do you remember? I showed Rebecca from a different app. I said, I don't think men should be, or women for that matter, because I'm not saying every woman on an app is probably gorgeous either. We should not be allowed to wear sunglasses in any of our profile pictures.
Oh my God.
Because essentially, you could have a great body and have a pair of sunglasses on. You think, oh, they're hot. And then in the next picture, they take their sunglasses off and they look like Dobby the door elf from Harry Potter.
1000%. I did not believe her, you guys. And she's like, oh, this guy looks like Dobby the elf or Dobby the elf. And so I'm like, no, that guy is hot. She sends me this. I swear to God, he looked like CGI. He looked like CGI.
Yeah.
So yeah, no sunglasses allowed. Absolutely not. Okay, I'm gonna send you a cute little picture of someone with a dachshund.
This is somebody that's not in the running, right?
This person is not in the running. I don't think he's for you. But he might be at the pool party, and he'd be like the person when you're taking a break from all the hotties and you just want to sit down and take a breath and pet his, dachshund. That's not any other kind of statement there. He looks like a teddy. Okay. So this is a picture of him. I just wanted to brighten your day that this man exists in the world.
Oh, you know what? He is a total like animal lover bear. Not again. Yes. I love that in people. Yeah, not at all, but he does, he looks like a teddy bear.
He does. And then, all right, let's move on to another match, and then I'm going to throw you another picture that's really funny of a guy that you're going to want me to click on, but I refuse.
You're not going to? Are you going to tell us why? Yeah, you'll have to tell us.
It will become apparent when we analyze the photo.
Oh, it's a white wolf. It's a white wolf.
It's an Ahab from Moby Dick.
Oh, now I'm interested.
No, wait,
it must be a jump selfie.
We'll get to it. We're just gonna put a pin in it for a second, and we're gonna move on to this gentleman who is also someone that I think that you would swipe right on immediately or think about and kind of be like, okay, and I want us to explore what's part of this bio, what the details are on here. And then if you do choose to move forward and go out with this guy, that's fine. But again, this is just to kind of help give context. So he's 27, surprise. And it says, here for the killer dad jokes and pickup lines. I do love my coffee black. Oh, I don't know what that means. I don't think we want to get into that. Are dates a thing anymore? I need a reason.
Well, are you reading into that? You think that that's part of his bio? Like, I like my coffee black. So you think?
Well, it's in parentheses. So he's referring to something else. So I don't think it's helpful to anyone for us to go into what that might be. True. But I think it's really helpful for us to go into the fact that we don't necessarily want to know what that is. True. Unless you start that out as a sir, can you please clarify this as your pickup line? Okay, so are dates a thing anymore?
I like my coffee, by the way, for anybody out there listening, I like mine like I like my men. Creamy, rich. Creamy and rich.
Creamy and rich.
How do you like yours?
We are looking for
you like a nice Arabic blend.
My coffee is dependent on the mood entirely. I take it always.
Yeah. Okay. You like a nice Arabic blend.
I do, but not exclusively. I swear to God. I swear to God. Okay, so
this is what we're like, by the way, when we're out in public. This. Okay.
And then I need a reason to leave my house. That sounds inspiring. Cat lover. Okay. Here's where you're gonna get pulled in. He's 6 foot. He works out sometimes. He's a Pisces, as am I. He drinks socially. He never smokes. He doesn't know yet what he's looking for. He's open to kids. He has a high school diploma. And he's sitting in his car with a baseball cap. And I'm telling you, Julie, if you had looked at this and I was not walking you through it, you would have swiped right on this man. But guess what? He's 27.
I mean, would I have?
And it shows.
When they say things like cat lover, my brain literally goes to they have 43 cats in there. That's where my brain went. 43 cats. I need to leave my house. Why? Because it's overrun by cats? I'm a little skeptical. I will look.
Okay.
But his note next to the picture he's sending me is cat lover.
Okay. So, well, here's the thing.
Agoraphobic.
You might be like, Rebecca, how dare you say I would have swiped right automatically on this man? And that's fine. We're upgrading my software about you. But
I keep looking at Sexy Fallon.
Sexy Fallon is going to take you on the ride of your life.
We're jumping out of a plane for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe without a parachute. And Brooklyn Miss keeps making these comments. I'm throwing them up into the podcast for those that are just listening to the episode. She's like, you can totally tell who you're into because your eyes get super wide and you get this grin across your face. I'm going to have to work on my poker face for this podcast.
Oh, man. I'm trying to find some of the pictures.
I don't like him. He looks like trouble.
hopefully we're getting somewhere.
Did I win a prize?
Your picker is getting better.
My picker is getting better. Lindsay Bradford, who watches the show or listens to it, she'll be like, hallelujah for Rebecca. She has told me for decades since she's known me, your picker's broken. You can't have people pick, you can't pick them for yourself. Your picker's broken.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. Yeah, I looked at his face. He is definitely attractive. He just looks difficult in this picture.
He looks like a man-child.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Okay, this is fun. I'm having fun now.
So now we're going to go to another one that you would want to swipe right on, and then we're going to get into a few that maybe are a little bit more of a new thing for you. Okay. So this person, okay, again, late 20s. I'm making a point here. He's 29. He's an Army at National Guard is what he says. So he works with National Guard. He's in the National Guard. Blue Mountain College. Okay, we won't give any more details on that so that we don't give him away. He says, I'm on here in parentheses passively looking for a soulmate. We love a passive guy, right? Genuine.
Well, not too passive.
Well, no, I'm being sarcastic.
Oh,
that is one of my least favorite qualities in a man. I don't mind a man who likes a dominant woman, but I do not like passivity. It is a very different thing. Okay, I'm on here being a passive idiot looking for a soulmate. Genuine, selfless, and realistic. Is he describing you or himself? We don't know. Okay, this is a point I would like to make. If anyone ever says, I'm a nice guy, it means the opposite. Nice people don't have to say that they're nice.
They say the same thing about rich people. Rich people don't have to tell you they're rich.
Exactly. So that's also a good clue on here. If we have anybody who is only on their friend's boat pretending it's theirs, all of these types of things, it's good clues.
These are good tips for everybody listening that may be in trouble in their dating life. So if you're watching at home, if you're listening at home, join the conversation each week. Tell us what's going on in your life as well. We want it to be an open forum. We want to hear that I'm not the only one that's going through love hazardly. So this is great advice. And it's things that we don't think about when we are alone at 2:00 in the morning, swiping right or left on a dating profile. We're not thinking about that. We're thinking about the fact that it's Friday night and we didn't go out. And why didn't we go out? Because we don't have anybody in our life. And we're looking towards people on the internet that are posting that kind of lifestyle that we want to be a part of. And that's the trap sometimes too. And it's, again, it is not just men. Men do the exact same thing with I want to be with her. She looks fun and it looks like she's on a boat every weekend. And, you know, and then the reality is you start dating this person and they can't afford a plastic boat from Toys R Us for their backyard, much less. So that's the other trap in internet dating. And so it's good to take notes and be a part of the discussion and understand what we're doing. This is Optimistic in Orlando, online dating in a metropolitan city. We're going to continue with the show. But those are important things to point out.
Okay, so he has these qualities: genuine, selfless, and realistic. All right, so I do want to just point out that he's a little bit of a more tempting option because those are things that I really look for in a person. I know that you value those in a person. For somebody to go to the lengths of choosing those qualities either to describe themselves, which unfortunately red flag, or to describe who they're looking for, which also I don't like when a man is like, you have to be like this and you better go to the gym. No. But the fact that he chose those qualities, we could give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt of like, okay, these are things that I really do find attractive as well. I know Julia would as well. Okay, he's 5'11". He's active. He's a Leo. Okay. but he never drinks and he never smokes. And I just want to point something out about that I've noticed over the years, which is that I think that that's a great quality. I think it's an amazing choice if it's one that you feel you need to make for yourself. It's also an awesome choice if you are literally just doing it for health or any reason. But what I have noticed is that people that do put that on there usually do have it on there for a reason, and you may experience that highly positively or as something that's a little bit of a conflict for you. But we'll always point that out. I think that's.
I mean, I like to drink, and I like to drink, and I usually can do it and not get into trouble. Sometimes relationships work that way though too, because he may say to me, I that's what I do. I don't expect you to do it, but then at the same time, I know that if I'm out with him and I decide to have 2 glasses of wine or a cocktail and I'm a little unsteady, if he cares about me, he's going to make sure that I get home okay. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It just, everybody's going to have differences going into. But he might say, I don't want you to be. I want you to be sober too. And I'd be like, yeah, that's not going to happen because the world's shit. You drink every once in a while. Okay.
Okay, so that's on here. So everybody has their own calibration of how they feel about that. Then he doesn't know yet what he's looking for. And the little baby bottle, he does want kids someday. Ken, okay, an opinion here, unsolicited opinion. Actually solicited because you did invite me here to give these opinions. When
I'm like, what's she gonna say?
When men say these men, okay, and I mean that in the sense of the types that Julie typically likes to swipe on without paying too much attention to. When they say that they want kids someday, or they're thinking about it, or they're on the fence, if you're a person that's looking to have kids, that doesn't really mean all that much. I feel like a lot of times, this is the other thing that I notice, and I don't want kids, so that would probably be a no for me if you felt really strongly about it. But you're going to get about max 80% of what the person's offering. So if the person's saying, I am maybe interested in a relationship, the way that I've seen it go is you're going to get about 80% of a maybe on a relationship.
Looks like we're buffering a little bit. So when she bounces back on, we'll ask her to finish that. She was talking about how usually what you see on a profile is what is about 80% of what the person's actually going to offer. So I was just catching them off. You paused a little bit and you're like, what I was trying to say is.
Perfect. And am I back now?
Yeah.
Great. All right. So let's get back into him. Okay. And then, all right. And then here's an interesting phrase. The world would be a better place with more ... And his answer is silence. Now, paired with genuine, selfless, and realistic, he sounds soulful. However, he also sounds like maybe he's just not that personable.
You never know what he means. That may be an opening question of, is the world around us just too loud for you? Is that, I don't know. Let's see his picture.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you the picture and you're going to get your answer to what you were wondering. Okay, here we go. This is the final picture. It's what I call the giveaway picture. Most people can take 3 good photos and then it starts to break down. This guy looks hot, but
no, right. No, he doesn't. Not to me. I mean,
but he does in the other photos. This is the giveaway photo, but this tells us that my take, I think, on the answer
looks like a smartass.
Right. He looks like if Justin Bieber had even more of an attitude about himself.
Yeah. He definitely looks like this would be a no for me.
Right. And I would venture to say that if we hadn't gone through all of this and spent some time, it might have been a 2 a.m. swipe on some of the other more attractive photos. So, okay. Glad that we've taken out some of the trash.
Okay.
Let's
We're
get
at 8 o'clock. By the way, we normally the show will run an hour. We're going to go a little bit over tonight because we fleshed out. We used the first 30 minutes to kind of introduce you to Rebecca and to flesh out this show. So we're going to go a little tonight. We'll take it to about 8:30, and then or until we're done with her matches, and then we will reconvene next week at 7 p.m. again on Sunday, and we will talk about if Sexy Fallon reached back out. We'll talk about all of that. So please join us for that. But we're going to go ahead and continue with our matches for this week, just so we have some footage for next week. That's not even a word. Footage? That's not a word. Fraudage? Fraudage is not a word. I mean, fraudage is a word.
I like footage, though.
Footage? Fodder?
That's what it should be.
We're going to call it
That's
footage.
what these people are. They're footage.
They're footage.
Yeah. Okay. This guy could be a nice guy.
Okay.
So he's 38. He's an account manager. He says, I'm always down for an adventure. Love the outdoors. Okay. And would prefer to be on the water. Okay. Maybe some not match there. Single dad to a 12-year-old and her dog. I know you are looking for someone who doesn't have kids, but again, something I'm always telling Julie is let's make sure that the no column is really a good, necessary no column, because you are going to have to make compromises. But some of the compromises I think I'm seeing us making are in the nice category and the not an asshole category. And so anyway, so that is present, but that could be a real thing that is absolutely not a match, and that's super valid. Sarcasm is my love language.
I think people will want to know. I've always had this thing behind people that have kids, especially single parents. Not that I'm against it, because some of my best friends are single parents. It's just that when I think about what their schedule already is, and they're trying to date on top of that, if they're working 60 hours a week, and then they're coming home to spend time with their kids and making sure their kids get to all their activities, I'm left with a sliver of time within that week to try and make a relationship work. And that's what a relationship is. So sometimes when the kids are younger, I'm like, this isn't going to work. And then when they get older, when they're older, I have to go, oh, now I have to explain the intersex shit to them. And they may have animosity. And so I'm just like, it's better to just find men that don't have parents, don't have a lot of friends, and don't have kids. That's not to say that I wouldn't want them and that they're not great people. It's just, that's been my experience.
That is totally valid in my opinion. What you did just say is not a lot of friends, and I tend to find that to be a red flag. Not necessarily too many friends, but we do want them to have some friends.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So here's a good thing. We just realized that that's kind of a hard pass for you, not for any judgment reason, but for lifestyle choices and what you're looking for. So we're not going to look at Patrick anymore. We're never going to get to the photo. We're not going to get past some of these things because there's already some stuff that's not aligning. So we're just going to move on to the next, because let's remember there's a million people out there, right?
And how many are in my box right now? Like 300.
A lot.
Big city. I have a lot to get through.
So
like 90 shows ahead of us. I feel like we're going to reach out to somebody at some point and they'll be like, I messaged you in September. It is March. And we'll be like, well, you weren't my first choice. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. So
Maribel said, maybe if the kids are grown, that would be a good compromise. Maybe. But then even looking at that, just in what I said to Rebecca, maybe. But when they're older, a lot of other things come into play.
That's true. I mean, here's the thing. The scenario you painted is very specific and a little hyperbolic. But it does make life more complicated. And my thing on the children front is I don't want the kids to have someone in their life that's not super excited about them ultimately and would want to be a part of their lives. It's kind of like I would never encourage anyone to move to New York City if that does not appeal to them, because you're not going to like it and it's not going to like you back.
Right.
But I would say if you meet someone in real life and they happen to have kids, but you feel really good.
If you meet somebody in real life and they have kids and
then
it's a match,
maybe
it's a
you
match.
can think about it.
We've been having issues all night. If you're watching from home, we don't know if it's her internet or my internet. It could be mine. I'm starting to realize every time somebody opens a door in this house to go outside, the internet trips. It's probably mine, but.
Okay. Well, okay. So what I'm going to do is, let's send you this last little photo of, this will kind of be the like hot guy night. Okay. And then we'll have a few more mindful matches now that we're getting your mindset to marinate a little bit, right? The next time. But I want to send you this Ahab guy from it's hilarious.
Okay. This is the Moby. You called him Moby Dick. I feel like that may be his nickname.
Well, but he's not the dick. He's
damn it, I don't want to see it then. I'm just kidding.
He's trying
to catch it. He's trying to catch it. The big old whale.
So look at this guy. He looks like a model. Can you describe the picture to the audience?
Yes. Oh, that's because he has a fish picture. We were just talking about this. Every guy needs a fish picture. Although, normally you would just see a guy holding up the fish. Right. This guy is like full-on Aquaman with a mask and a snorkel.
He's in process.
He's got a spear in his left hand, and he's got this, I don't even know what kind of fish that is. It looks like an angelfish, actually. Maybe that's a sign. Kind of looks like an angelfish.
And he has a scuba thing.
It kind of looks like a fish, which would be odd because parrotfish are intersex. That would be kind of ironic. What if he ends up being the one? I mean, he's probably not. But
well, so then there's going to be a little bit of a punchline.
Go after the intersex fish in the ocean. Why don't you try this intersex mermaid? I don't know. Yeah.
And then it looks a little bit.
You have a better face pic of him?
Well, it looks a little bit like an Armani kind of like cologne ad meets like some Florida guy fishing. And it's interesting. He kind of looks like he's off the coast of Italy somewhere. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to read you his bio. Okay.
Yeah, Lady Gaga sang a song about him.
Yes. Yes, she did. He says, just looking for the future mother of my children.
See, I can't have kids. I mean, I can't.
Okay. Swipe right to submit your application.
Well, okay.
If you ask me, this is where I get annoyed. If you ask me, so what exactly are you looking for on here? I will kindly refer you back to my profile. I don't like it when people have an attitude already about how they're going to receive you on their profile. Now, we worked on yours a little bit, which was more understandable. It was kind of like, don't be a dick, I'm tired of assholes.
Which we can read. If we want to read maybe we do that tonight too. Maybe we read it so everybody understands what I'm putting out there. We can do that. Yeah. And then they'll have a better understanding. So it's not so. Maybe each week we'll read my bio before we go into the other bios.
And if anyone has any feedback of things that they're noticing or that we both have blind spots about, it'd be really interesting to think about as well.
Yeah.
Okay, this man is not nearly as okay. On here,
now that you've started to read his bio, he does not sound
like a fit.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not. No, I really hate it when
I don't think I wouldn't have swiped right on him. I don't.
No, you wouldn't have. No. It was a comical photo, and then this is the final giveaway picture, which is yet again a comical photo. He looks. I don't even want to say it. He looks like
okay. He is attractive, but it almost kind of feels like a catfishing profile too.
It is absolutely
because you go, is that him? That doesn't look like the same. It doesn't look like the same body type under the hoodie that he was exhibiting.
Okay, well, and then we have yet another photo here, which I think it could be the same guy because this is an unattractive enough photo that a catfish probably wouldn't have chosen it.
Yeah, he just looks like he crawled into that piano that you were talking about earlier. He looks dead. Looks totally different.
And
this would be a no for me, by the way. This would be a no.
This would never have been a yes, but we do have to.
Because that's what I'd have to look at night. If things worked out, I'd have to roll over and go, oh.
Well, it's just so funny. Some of the stuff on here, it's like laughable.
It kind of, do you know what this whole profile kind of looks like? Overcompensation.
Oh, yeah. Like we should have picked up on that from the spear.
It looks like he's absolutely trying to appear as Jason Momoa, Madonna's husband, the director. I can't think of his name. What's his name? Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
And then in the last ad, he looks like he needs a Gillette shave laying back.
And there's two of the same one. And then there's another one where he's sideways doing like as if he was doing a pull-up sideways, but you know, when people put their body out that way, and he's ripped and there's some pants going on, but nobody's interested in him.
No. That would be
all right.
And by the way, hopefully you're cleaning up my inbox as you do that. She said no to this one, swipe left. She said no to this one, no. I'm hoping you're marking them off so we don't have to revisit them in the future.
Yes, we will be cleaning.
Really familiar, and I'll be like, "You said no to him in episode 1."
Oh man! All right, let's get to what really matters, which is you and your bio.
Okay.
Do you want to read that to us, or you want me to read it?
Let's see. I'll read it because it'll be in my own words, and you did help me clean it up. And I would try and go right to my bio without looking at any of the filters. Ooh, Julie swipes. Okay, great.
What?
It's telling me I have super swipes available. So like
I love the super swipes. They're always a huge disappointment, but it's so exciting.
I could super swipe. Now I will show people at home because it doesn't mention that this is the Hive. If you're on the Hive, you'll recognize
what we're talking about.
You'll recognize maybe the app, but that is my main picture on the app. So there's my main picture. I try and change them as I change. Took some really great photos yesterday in a booby-esque swimsuit. I don't think I'll be adding those though. Okay. This is what we said. My About Me section says, back in Orlando after a few years away. I want excitement and a best friend. I love my own company, but I'm ready for no longer doing life alone. Google just Julie and read my bio. If they do, most men don't read apps. I mean, they don't read your bio. A lot of people don't read bios. We were saying that earlier. You swipe on what you're attracted to. We know if they read my bio and then they go and Google just Julie, all of this will come up. And if they are interested, again, they will say, oh my gosh, I've never heard of that before. That's very interesting. You seem like a powerful person. I'd like to get to know you better, or they'll say, that's not what I'm into, or they may even just unmatch, which is fine. It says that I am 5'10". I work out sometimes. I'm a Gemini. I have an undergraduate degree. I'm social, or I drink socially. I never smoke. I'm an intersex woman. I'm looking for a relationship. Kids, don't want. I'm Christian, and I'm moderate in my politics. I like the theater, gin as a cocktail, exploring large cities or new cities, being romantic, and I believe in human rights. Then it goes on to say, Julie asked, what would your bestie say is your best quality? This was Rebecca's suggestion. What would you say your bestie would say is your best quality that you'd never write on your profile? The quickest way to my heart is look into my eyes, see me, and stick around. And if you don't live in my town, you'll come my way. Meaning, I don't necessarily want to talk to somebody that's 2 hours away, but if they live 2 hours away and it's a fit, they're going to come to me. They're not going to make me drive 70 miles to put me asleep and operate on my feet. 2 truths and a lie. And we debated about this when Rebecca said, do you really want to keep it? And then she thought, you know what? Let's keep it. So 2 truths and a lie. I was born with 1 ovary and 1 testicle. I am intersex, XXY, and no external opening to my taco. I was nominated for an Emmy. 2 are true, 1 is a lie. Perfect first date. Show me you. Dates can be nerve-wracking. I want my date to be comfortable, so share with me something that you enjoy, taking most of the pressure off of you, right? Which I've always felt that way. As you're dating and you're getting to know somebody, you want them to take you somewhere and show them a part of you as something they really love. I'm trying to get to know you better. So if I say, let's go to dinner, I don't want you to pick some new fancy restaurant that neither one of us have been to. I want you to take me somewhere and share with me your favorite dive bar, your favorite restaurant, your favorite place to get fish and chips. I want to know what you like. That's the whole purpose of dating. And so I've often always said to people, plan something. And then when it's my turn to plan a date, I can go and take you somewhere that I really like, and we can go do something I really like. And that's kind of how you get to know each other. That's my personal opinion, if that fits. And then it just says I live in Orlando and I'm from Orlando. So that's my profile for this particular dating profile or dating app. And I've mixed some casual photos in there. I've mixed some very glam photos in there because we all know I have a very pageant aesthetic. I've tried to give them a full body. I've tried to give them, up close pictures. It's hard sometimes to put other people in your pictures, especially if they don't necessarily want to be associated on your dating apps. So it's a hard kind of line to toe, but that is my profile, and we will read that each week. And so you understand what I put on each profile, right? On one of my profiles, we call Finder. We're going to call it Finder. Also mostly a male-based app. Tends to be more for hookups. It's called Finder. And, one of the things she wrote on there, because I get a lot of jerks, not coming after me, but I get a lot of jerks that are just looking for hookups. And so Rebecca said, what if we write, I'm into assholes, I just don't put up with them. And I thought, perfect, because you're limited on each app of what you can write. So she was like, this is telling them out of the gate, I enjoy a nice piece of ass, but I'm not going to put up with any assery. And I thought, that's perfect. And I've actually gotten a lot of hits on that this week too. So it all kind of has to do with, she knows as a writer and an editor, it's trigger words and keywords, and it's how you say it that can still get the effect out there, but you are really limited. It's almost kind of like speed dating, right? Where you sit down in front of somebody and you have like 2 minutes to sell yourself. That's what dating feels like sometimes, right? It feels like selling yourself, which is not fun. I think everybody.
I think one of the things that you have to try to do on some level in a profile that people sometimes do in an awkward way, which is I'm sick and tired of terrible dates. I don't want to talk to anybody that's got nothing in their bio. Like, we all can fall into that sometimes because you're just so fed up. At 3 a.m., you start changing your bio and hating on everyone. But the reverse of that would be not putting any boundaries out there at all. And you do want someone to know that, like, there are, whether it be from online dating or a lot of things that are going on in the world and sociology, if you will, there are a lot of people out there who are just absolute assholes who want to order you like Uber Eats, and you need to make them aware that you're not Uber Eats. And so there has to be something on there, which is why I think we liked the asshole line, that is inviting enough that says, I'm a fun person, I'm looking for various things, I have limits. There are rules and requirements over here. But you're not like leading with that in this like downer way, which I think a lot of people fall into at 3 a.m. So anyway, that's a thing.
We're in the final 10 minutes of tonight's episode. Do we have one more bio to read? Because right now, going into next week, we're only focused on Sexy Fallon, which I'm okay with.
So
if not, we can just,
Well, okay. I do. We have, okay, actually.
Pick your best out of
here. No. Here he is. He's been waiting for this moment. This guy is not someone you would have gone for. Okay. This guy is not someone you would have gone for, but he's 42. Okay. He says, looking for the one that appreciates a hype man, a gym, dance, and pickleball partner. Gym partner, not you. Okay. Someone that they can be completely open and honest with, even the ugly bits. Life is messy, but always more fun when you participate. He's 5'11". He works out sometimes. He's a Cancer. He has an undergrad degree. He drinks socially. He never smokes. He's looking for a relationship, so you'll get 80% of that max. He has kids, okay, and doesn't want more, but we're so deep into him already, we might give him a chance. He's spiritual and he's politically moderate. There is a picture of him with a male friend who looks like a really nice guy. There is obviously a picture of him, a nice front face photo of him that is his leading photo. He says something I learned way later than I should have. It's better to be honest with what you need and what you're looking for. Then we have, okay, now there's one photo I'm absolutely not going to show you. It's not the most flattering thing because he is wearing a cowboy hat and not in the fun people at the pool party way, but it's fine.
What, in like a YMCA way? He's wearing a cowboy hat.
No, I don't really know how to
like a wedding photo cowboy hat.
No, a cowboy hat with a t-shirt.
With a what on it?
Okay, a t-shirt, a very colorful t-shirt.
Okay.
We just need him to explain the photo. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I'm a great +1 because I love to dance and might start a conga line. I think, I see a comment.
Yeah, it says, I feel like it's spot on. You yourself are a whole vibe, and I know it's been a minute, but I have a good sense of your soulfulness, Julie. So that was one of the comments that was just added.
So can I get buy-in on you either way and then show you the photo?
Can you do what?
Can I get a yes or no on reaching out to him and then show you the photo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can always sabotage it later.
Okay, here's the photo I want you to see. This is him and his friend.
It's incoming.
Okay. He's the one on the left. It's very important.
Okay, which one is he?
He's the one on the left.
What? My left or your left? I'm like,
he's not in the plaid.
okay.
He's in the floral lead.
He's cute. He's kind of cute.
That's enough. That's enough. We're good with that.
Yeah, he's cute.
Great. You know what I don't ever want to hear? He's nice.
I think it's funny because his friend looks like Bob Saget.
But that's nice. Right?
Sure, that's nice, I guess. I'm not into his friend. I'm looking at
Exactly.
He's
All right.
cute.
So
He's
we
got nice.
are going to reach out to him. We have two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? We've got personality
What?
first.
You just froze. She froze. Is that a sign? Sorry, maybe it's her internet. Hey.
Am I back?
Okay, you reached out to him. We got to give him a nickname.
Oh, Hype Man. That's what he says.
Hype, Hype.
Yeah, like, woo woo, I'm the one behind you.
Okay. He actually looks like a guy I used to work for in California named Andrew Mason. I know it's not the same guy. However, that's who he reminds me of. So he's cute.
Was Andrew nice?
Andrew Mason is a sweetheart, total sweetheart.
Okay.
Married, so I mean.
This man is not. Okay, he's also not 27. So we have perfect polar opposites here. We have fun times guy, and we have nice guy who the compromise. I'm loving the bank situation. It's everything. It's everything. We have. I think you should wear them like that on your first date. And if this guy wants to go out with you again with them and they're in the middle, then you know he's the one.
Gosh, don't do it. It's always backwards. It drives me nuts.
Anyway, so I think this will be interesting. We've got total
two
opposite ends of the
spectrum. We have
spectrum.
two going into next week. We have Sexy Fallon and we have Hype Man. And this was out of about what, 6 did we do? No, 5, which is perfect for the first show. Obviously, we won't take next week's show. We'll go right into it after we introduce our liquor of choice. We'll go right into the show and go right into the matches. And it'll be interesting to see if Sexy Fallon responds. It'll be interesting to see if Hype Man responds. And
we might even have some little leftover stories like other foot surgeons or even positive experiences from other apps or things along the way.
From other ones. Absolutely. Well, we have gone about 30 minutes over. It's about 8:29. So we're going to go ahead and call this a wrap on our first episode of Rose All Day, Optimistic in Orlando, which is all about helping Julie in her messy love life find a connection or multiple connections. You know, I'm free range. I feel like a free range. That makes me sound like a chicken. I'm free range.
We won't put that on the profile.
We won't put that on my profile. However, we are going to go ahead and close the show out for the evening. Thanks for joining us. We will be here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern for a new episode of Rose All Day, Optimistic in Orlando with my new co-host, Rebecca Davis, and I'm Julie. And you can look for more information about me and my brand at justjulie.com. We're going to talk in the green room for a while. Hope you have a wonderful week. It is a busy week for me as well, and stay blessed. And thank you all for listening and for being a part of my journey. Thank you.
For more content, follow justjulie.com. That's just Julie, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Julie tries a different rosé.